During FUAF operations in Estonia, there are two main methods used in the advance to contact. Sabre Pull is where the armoured forces take the lead of the advance. They set the pace and have the priority on the radio nets. It can be slow when compared to traditional rates of advance due to the tight nature of terrain. It is, however, much faster than Foxhound Pull and offers commanders an opportunity to exploit situations with bold movement around the battlefield. It is predominantly used when the threat of encountering armour is high. Momentum is more essential than thoroughness of woodland clearance, sacrificing security for speed, or in large open areas between woodblocks or forests. It will utilise an obvious axis predominantly up roads or tracks, therefore, you should seek out and exploit the unexpected option, noting that the ground to the immediate left and right of the tracks is usually unpassable. The Challenger 2 is able to forge its own path amongst almost all woodland in Estonia due to the sandy soil and skinny trees. Recce must focus on proving routes, which may otherwise not be shown on maps or photographs. Patrol formations will mostly be limited to column or snake, especially whilst on tracks within woodland. On rare occasions where the track is wide enough, moving at red snake is best practice, as it mitigates some of the threat of being ambushed. As you can see here, where there is a tank static observing to the next bend in the track, keeping 1 foot on the ground. The speed of the push forward and the composition of the leading call sign will be based on the threat and risk appetite of the local commander. It is also worth noting that taking up a traditional fire position is impossible and you will feel exposed. In reality, the majority of the time you will be channeled onto a single track and forced by the ground either side of it to move in green snake or column. It is not ideal, but it is the reality of what happens. An SOP should be implemented that when going static, you pull to the side of the track where possible, in order to allow other vehicles to get past if required. When moving in Sabre Pull, you are susceptible to two types of contact, which are predominantly short-range anti-armour ambush, typically between 50 to 100 metres, and short-range armour-on-armour contact at between 50 to 500 metres. In both cases, the go-to solution is maximum aggression up to the limits of the ROE and maintaining momentum, moving through the killing area with tempo, putting down overwhelming rates of fire. Pre-planned DFs and aggressive use of organic weapon systems are essential. Chain gun comes into its own here, allowing vehicle crews to strafe woodlines before moving into enemy effective weapon range. If the lead vehicle is contacted, the crew should either both rapidly identify and destroy the position, or if overmatched or indeed the enemy position cannot be identified, then the crew will begin to extract and hand off the target to the infantry, so that they can dismount and defeat the position. When moving in Sabre Pull, obstacle crossings become troop business and are more of akin to defile crossings than large-scale obstacle crossings that you may be used to. On identification of an obstacle or vulnerable point, it requires the hasty transition from Sabre Pull to Foxhound Pull. Obstacles in the FUAF environment will often be a number of complex obstacles on track junctions. Occasionally, you may also find them in seemingly random places. Due to the dense foliage to the sides of tracks, bypass will seldom be possible. Obstacles will only sometimes be covered by fire. However, due to the force multiplied nature of the FUAF environment, small bands of determined men can cause a real headache. Every obstacle must be treated as if they will be opposed. Due to the previous points, momentum is hard to achieve, and thus cross-arm rock drills and robust SOPs are essential. After the obstacle identification and the transition to Foxhound Pull, the infantry will secure up to, and in most cases, past the obstacle. Armoured forces will begin to approach the obstacle, conducting the defile drill. The traditional drill of observe, secure, cross is extant. However, it may be necessary, whilst in Estonia, to add two phases so that the drill will become observe, secure, obscure, breach, and cross. The first two phases will have been conducted by the infantry dismounts. Obscuration will usually be done using either smoke from mortars or artillery, or in the worst case, from Challenger 2, either firing 120mm smoke or indeed a vehicle using their smoke grenade dischargers. The engineers will then begin their breach of the obstacle. Once this has been achieved, tank call signs must rapidly exploit the gap made to gain a foothold on the far side before allowing the remainder of the forces to catch up. When moving in Sabre Pull, there is always a risk of a vehicle becoming stricken, subsequently blocking the track and halting the advance. Whether it be mechanical failure, bogging in, or an M kill, every effort must be made to get the vehicle to the side of the track to enable the rest of the packet to move past. It is imperative to make every effort to do this with organic assets first. Practicing troop level recovery for not only your own vehicles, but also the other vehicles you're going to be working with will pay dividends should you be required to deal with this scenario. If the vehicle is unable to move there by their own steam, or the vehicle is K-kill, other assets such as the Krav may be required to be called forward to assist or physically push the stricken vehicle out of the way. This will of course cause a prominent pause in vehicle momentum, which should prompt dismounts to move forward.